More than 650 teams from more than 300 colleges and universities around the country competed at regional tournaments across the country in February. That turned into 192 teams competing across the country in March, the best 48 teams here in Greenville, South Carolina, and now we are down to the University of Virginia and Yale University competing to be AMTA's 32nd national champion. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jonathan Woodward, the AMTA Tabulation Director, along with my friend Josh LaCrone, here from the Yountz Conference Center on the campus of Furmon University in Greenville, South Carolina, for AMTA's 32nd national championship round. Again, the final round today is Virginia versus Yale. Yale was the team that called the coin flip. They won and chose to defend. So, Josh, how is it that Virginia and Yale got to where we are here right now?
Well, you know, they say at these tournaments you're going to have to beat some good teams to get to the final round, and this year was no exception. In an unprecedented for in AMTA history, there were 5 scoring ballots in every single round. And starting off with our prosecution team, the University of Virginia. The University of Virginia won 16 ballots in the Kirkland and Ellis division. They lost 3 and they tied 1. They had a point differential of a stunning 157 points over all 20 of those ballots. Our friends from Virginia are the 6th ranked team in the country according to Power Ranking. They are, of course, the 2006 and 2007 back-to-back national champions. Beyond that, they competed at the DC Orcs, where they qualified with a record of 5-3, and the Richmond, Virginia regional tournament, where they qualified with a 6-2 record. Here this weekend, they are led by their double All-American, Kate Villaney. She won both an Outstanding Attorney and an Outstanding Witness Award. And what am I saying? It's actually All-American. She was a double All-American. Their path here was not an easy one. First round, Northern Illinois. Second round, the defending national champion, Harvard. Third round, the University of California, Berkeley A. And fourth round out there, the formidable host of the 32nd annual national championship tournament, the Furmon Paladins. So certainly Virginia earned their way here. Representing the defendants, Skylar Sinclair at the 32nd annual national championship tournament is our runner-up from last year's national championship tournament in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Yale Bulldogs. Yale, of course, is the number 2 ranked team in the country according to Power Rankings. They are, over the course of the weekend, they won a staggering 17 ballots out of 20, losing 2 and tying 1. Their point differential on the weekend was 141 points better than the teams they faced. They are led by their 2-time All-American attorney, Daniel Stern, and an All-American witness this weekend, the top-ranked witness in the Estridge division, Mr. Patrick Doolittle. Prior to this weekend, they qualified out of the Lancaster Orcs with a record of 6-2, and they qualified out of the State College Pennsylvania Regional with a record of 8-0. Their path to the final round here at the 32nd National Championship Tournament also was not easy. First round, they played Millsaps. Second round, they played the University of California at Berkeley B. Third round, Rhodes A, a perennial national championship contender. And fourth round, and what I'm told was an amazing, amazing round, they took 4 ballots off of New York University to earn their spot here in the final round of this beautiful weekend in Greenville.
Now, obviously, Virginia and Yale, 2 teams that are considered elite in AMTA, but Yale's a little bit more of a newcomer to that type of a label. We saw them last year, of course, as you just mentioned, in the final round in Cincinnati. What are the some of the things that Yale does to be at that elite level?
Yeah. Yale, I watched the final round last year. They were incredible. They were excellent, led by Mr. Stern. They present a significant difference between Virginia and Yale is a student-run organization. The University of Virginia, of course, has a number of coaches. But, you know, both teams, I would say their strengths lie in their presentation. They have excellent character witnesses. They have strong opening statements, strong closing arguments, and very nuanced objection arguments. They're just clearly this weekend the top of the heap over all the other 48 teams that were competing. Welcome back to the Greenville, South Carolina 32nd annual National Championship Tournament. Joshua Leckrone back with you. We've got a few minutes before the final round begins, and we hope that everyone out there in Amtaland is eagerly anticipating what we hope is just an amazing, amazing final round, hopefully one that rivals last year's all-Ivy League matchup of Yale-Harvard. You're looking live in the Yance Center on the campus of what can only be described as incredibly beautiful Furmon University. The courtroom you're looking at was built specifically for this occasion. The judges' benches, the presiding judge bench, the tables, everything you see before you was built specifically for this tournament. Even the Great Seal of the State of Midlands, a first in AMTA's history, which is perched upon the bench of the presiding judge. And that's what you're looking at. You see some coaches there preparing for battle. You're getting the view from behind where the jury will be sitting. Final preparations are in order, of course. The Virginia Cavaliers will be closest to the jury bench there on the right, and the Yale Bulldogs to the left.
And I was just out in the hallway as the Virginia Cavaliers were in their final huddle. They appear to be back in the courtroom now, getting everything in place for the championship round to begin. It looks like Yale is there, all ready to go. Anticipate before too long we will have someone from the tournament, either AMTA President Justin Bernstein or perhaps the director of the Furmon Mock Trial Program, Dr. Glenn Halva-Neubauer, calling the courtroom to order and introducing our final panel of judges. It is a capacity crowd out there. There are folks wondering if there is spillover seating. Not aware that there's much, but certainly folks are welcome to catch our live stream. If you're hearing us now, you're watching it on WIFF4.com.
Yeah,
And
yes.
it should just be a few more minutes before we get started here.
Yeah, and Jonathan, talk about, for those folks, I know when we did this before, there were thousands of viewers and listeners out across the country watching this tournament. This is a case that was released to the students, I'm told, about 30 days ago.
Yes, this is only the second time in AMTA history that this particular case has only been used at the national championship tournament. It was released, I believe, on about March 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. So they really only had a month, and of course there's really no invitational tournaments for teams to practice this. Certainly there were many teams that had scrimmages among other colleges and universities in their area. There were certainly numerous scrimmages in the days leading up to the beginning of the tournament this past Friday. But otherwise, the case committee really doesn't have any ability to go through and make changes to the case to react to things that happened during the course of the tournament. So here in Greenville was the first time that this case was really tried on a broad level, and it was very, very successful in that regard.
It's successful because it was such an evenly balanced case. Very close in the number of ballots won by prosecution teams versus those won by defense teams. And I think kudos are in order to the 4 individuals who were on this secretive case committee, Dr. Michael Nelson, Christopher Lyons, Jackie Olson, and Tyler Bullard. Jonathan, my understanding is you at some point edited this case, revised this case.
I did a little bit of proofreading, right.
My team, of course, competed here this weekend, so I've read the case. Well, why don't you tell our viewers who didn't move on past Orcs or just checking into us to see what this mock trial is about, why don't you tell everyone at home exactly what the case is about?
Sure. Well, for those of you who are familiar with the case that was in play during the rest of the season, the regular season, if you will, you had this case involving allegations that a casino owner had bribed a member of the Midlands Gaming Commission, and you had this person who was undercover trying to investigate whether there was malfeasance taking place. We sort of spun off that undercover character. Mickey Keenan was their undercover name. Their real-life name turned out to be Jamie Robinson. This was sort of another investigation that person was doing in an undercover capacity. And when our fictional news network, Blitz News Network, outed the identity of that undercover officer, that's when some drug dealers that they were working with found out that the person they thought was a drug dealer was actually an undercover police officer, and the undercover officer, unfortunately, lost their life. And Skylar Sinclair, one of those college students alleged to be part of this drug ring, was arrested and charged with the murder of Jamie Robinson. So we kind of transitioned from that undercover officer in the casino case to this other case, and now we're talking about this cast of characters who were here, police investigators, criminalists, expert witnesses, eyewitnesses involved with what happened down at the Midlands Marina the night that Officer Robinson was killed. Looking now, it appears that the judges are coming into the courtroom. I anticipate we will be getting started here shortly.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Please be seated.